All right, welcome back, Norwich 93 CMP. We're going to do something a little different. Got a lot of old handguns, and I recently got a new 45 from CMP, and I was cleaning another gun, and I realized the magazine is kind of complicated, and I think it'd be complicated for some folks who've never done it before, how to clean it out. And I have a bunch of old guns here, and I'm going to show you some of the harder ones and how to open them up, properly put the spring back in. Hopefully it helps some people out. This is a P38 magazine. This is simple, and it's got a dimple on the base plate. It's really dummy proof. You push it in, you slide it forward. This is just a demonstration of an easy magazine. It slides right off. Keep your thumb over it. It's got a like a retention plate for that, the spring, and the follower comes straight out. The follower is shaped that the spring can only go in one way. That's not the same for every firearm magazine. So when we put them in, we're going to put the widest end. When we mean widest, usually this part here will be to the back of the follower and to the back of the base plate. And we're going to put them all back together. Then you would obviously clean the body out. This one's already done, but this is something that's simple and easy for you guys. You don't need a video on it. I'm going to go to the ones that are a lot harder. And some people are just like, I can't believe I can't get in this thing. How do you get in it? Because there is no base plate that's removable. So I'm going to do 3 of these cold. Well, 2 of them are doing cold, which I've never done before. 2 of them I have. I'll do the 1911 first. And they're welded together, usually in here. It's one piece. And in the base plate, if you look really close, there's pins in it that are swagged or brazed in. And it's formed. The base doesn't come out of these. So how do you get in here to clean them? Well, the reason why this cut is here, this lip, and it's really low, is a couple functions. One is this is for the slide stop, so it stays to the back and locked open when the magazine's empty. But it also serves as the area where the follower will tilt forward towards the camera to get it out. But they're tough. A lot of these, people are like, oh, those are count holes and stuff like that. Well, they're actually also for to disassemble. And what I usually do is I love my GI brush, and all I do is I just push it in. I'll push it in about to the middle someplace. And then I'll take, a small screwdriver. I'll put it to the back. Of course, it doesn't fit, right? I gotta get a small punch or an awl. I go all the way through and I let go. That just stops the spring tension. My follower is not up on top. Actually, I'm sorry. That was above my follower. There we go. So I locked it in place. My follower is actually there, and I can knock it out, and this is how it tilts out for you. Just remember, sorry. This is going to be the back of it, and you can see this one's, it's not too dirty in there. But obviously you're going to clean this all up. Make sure your lips, there's no burrs on it anywhere. You might have to file it down, but obviously you want to clean this. After you have the follower out, obviously put your thumb over it, remove the spring. It's going to go flying. And then now I'm gently releasing the pressure. Okay, now the 1911 magazine is a little different. There is the shelf that's right here. It does catch on this portion, so it does only go in theoretically one way, but you can screw it up. The widest portion of the spring is going to be down at the bottom. Like I said, the tallest part or the widest part will be at the back, the base, like this. And this is where the follower goes. Now you can get on the inside, and my personal favorite, obviously, is the Q-tip. The long Q-tip for the deep down cleaning, right? Gets to the bottom. And then you got your Texas Q-tips. Yes, I got a Texas Q-tip. There it is. You go way down the bottom, get it out. It's really wide. For springs and cleaning of the springs, I generally just take a paper towel. I know this magazine's clean. Just bunch it up. It's probably pretty thick. It's about as thick as the coils, and I just put it in and I just walk it across, and I do the whole spring until it's all the way down to the bottom. Once she's all nice and clean, I'm going to put her back together for the 1911. Goes in, like I said, the widest part. It's going to go to the back. All right, so here's the trick. How do you get this down in there? Well, it's a little manhandling. I usually put a little bit of oil on this, not much. Take my left thumb, I'm right-handed, and put my pointer finger over the top. Now I'm taking the back end of the follower, going across the top. Now the lips are really tight at this portion, but they're wider here. And I'm pushing down and in. You see that rocking movement I'm doing? And I'm depressing the spring. It's going down. And I got like the elbow of the follower right here. And now I'll slide it backwards if I can. All right, so she got stuck. Now she needs a little persuading or a little help. Sometimes I can move the springs down, sometimes I can't. Okay, so I had to push down a little bit and tilt back. Just watch out for the tab was catching on this part right here, and she's in. But now I'm going to look. Okay, I had a little extra light for you guys. I got to look to see where the spring is. So you see where the spring is right there? I'm not sure you can see it. I can see it with my eyes. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. There it is. Yeah. There it is. See her way in the back there? I want to make sure it's forward up to that tab. And then I'll test it. And she's good to go. So that's the 45. This is like a model 1907. Little more difficult. You only have one side that has holes, the other one doesn't. It's a solid piece. Again, you have the clearance cut here for tilting the follower. Same process. I go down about halfway. And I release. Sometimes it's good to have the spring pressure in there to bring the follower up. Oh, this one came right out. Look at that. But if you notice, this one's just an L shape. Clean her up just like everything else. Same deal. Put your fingers over it. Let it go. Now this spring, you can see that it's taller on the back side than it is the front side. This is the front or the muzzle end of the weapon, and this is the rear side of the weapon. Same thing goes with the body of the magazine. That's the way she's going to go back in. A lot of times when you're having feeding problems, people have cleaned them before you, the spring's in backwards usually. I find that actually a lot. I would say with like carbine magazines, I would say almost 50% of them are in backwards. Clean it out again, same exact way. Everything is the same. And same thing with putting them back together. This one was a little more difficult. I did this one yesterday. It was filthy. It's a 1907 gun, so it's pretty old. Another thing you could possibly do is, because of the long coils to the springs, sometimes you can tilt them. And I think this one I had to tilt a little bit like this to get it to go in for the placement. There we go. All right, so I got it in. This one's a lot easier to see. I'm trying to zoom in for you. This one's a lot easier to see how it goes right up to the edge there. And then test them out. Pops up nice. Okay. So that was a 1907. Only one side you had holes to do this with. Let's see some of the other pistols we have. I have a small Colt 25. Let's see. I don't remember doing this one before. Okay, so it's double-sided holes. It's like any other Colt pistol, solid base. One piece seam welded. This one's gonna be a little more difficult, and I have just because it's the size. So I'm only gonna go down maybe a quarter of the way down, and I can just get that. I might have to go farther with it. I have to go farther with it so I can get the curve out of it, or that bend that comes in. I try to use wood and other stuff that's non-marring. The screwdriver over here seems to work the best. Now see, I'm having some difficulty with this one. I'm not sure why. I think this one I have to go from the back and move it forward while it's above. Like I said, I'm doing this cold. I've never done this one yet. Might have to get the old pliers out for this sucker. It wants to come. It's just, it's so small. So the pliers I'm going to use I'm going to show you pretty neat ones. They don't have any checking or striations, so they're totally round. That's really good to use on different stuff when you're doing some gunsmith work, because they don't mar. Holy cow. All right, so I'm gonna have to do more with this magazine here. All right, sorry it's taking so long, but like I said, I'm doing this cold. There we go. So I had to go all the way down with the spring, and then she bent out, and if you could just look how cruddy that is a little bit. This is just the base of the follower. I mean, you could tell it was shot probably a long time ago. The spring is cruddy. It was in proper. See, this is too thick. And you'll see the crud come off the spring. Oop, wrong way. Come on. It's not coming off that well because it's like rusted in. It was kind of grainy when I was doing it, but you can start seeing some of the crud that's on there. And then obviously the body needs to be cleaned out. Look, this is why you clean this stuff, especially if it's old. These magazines are getting harder and harder to find everywhere. Look at that nastiness. So I'll clean that one later. But for the benefit of you folks, you saw how I did that one. This is a Savage. I forgot what the model was. I think this is also a 32. I don't think it's a 380. So look at that. Very different. It does have a base plate to it. You can see the welded seam right there. All right. This one comes off left to right, where most of them usually come off to the front, but you can see where the curves are and then how it's flush on the sides. She's going to come out left and right, and you can see the detents here. That means that's inside hitting the wall over here. So this is going to have to be pulled up from the middle and then slid to the side. That's my guess. This was a good screwdriver. I don't know what the hell I did with it. They busted it. There it is. All right, here we go. So I'm going up. Yep. Okay, so she moved to the side. Be careful again. Put your finger over it. Slide it over. It's actually very tough to move. Not fun at all. Alright. There we go. Thumb overboard. Magazine spring might have been in the wrong way. Let's see what it looks like. Follower. That was in the wrong way. More than likely. Follower should come straight down. And she's hung up. She's hung up right here. She may have to turn in the inside. She can't turn in the inside. She's gonna come straight out. Or she comes straight out. All right, me personally, I think the magazine spring was in the wrong way. It came out like this. I don't think that's correct. I think it's gonna be this way. But then again, I do have coils with the dents in them, and they gotta match up. So there's our answer. It goes in perfectly like that. So that's the way she's gonna end up going back in. This one's really dirty. This one's hideous. Very wide coils. I think you folks get the point of the video. Really rusty. I would clean this like I'm doing now, and then I would I use brake free. I don't use any other gun oil because over time it gums up. So I use CLP. I'll put it all over here, and then I'll run it through again, and that leaves the thin coat on here. Do the thin coat on the inside. This one obviously easy to put back together. Follower goes in the opposite way we normally believe to be a normal magazine. There's no underneath base plate, and it goes in left to right, right to left, versus the other ones. Okay, all right, so old magazines, how to open them up, clean them up, and put them back together again. All right, take care, folks.